through 153 games, our record was 125, 24, 4, 2 now.
People don't know what it is to be champions. Oklahoma invented it.
That's right, Coach Switzer. Oklahoma invented it. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this episode of Sooner Legends podcast. And if you're new to the family, new to the channel, and you love college football, especially our beloved Oklahoma Sooners, do the thing. Hit white feet, hit that red subscriber button, give me a like, give me a comment, and smash that notification. Smash that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of this goodness. I have my guest, the official chaplain of Sooner Legends podcast. We have Mr. Bishop Frank with us, and the 3-time fantasy football champion, hailing from the great state of Kansas, Mr. Mike Boganowski. What's up, gentlemen?
What's it to you? Big salute. The boogeyman is here.
The boogeyman in the house, got a cigar, looking like Jerry Lawler. Got his trophies. Mike, congratulations on being a 3-time fantasy football champion. How does it feel, my brother?
Let me tell you something. This one's got a little bit of special meaning, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys tuned in and heard part of the spiel this morning, but well, this league, you know, it's prestigious now, right? And like Coach Dent said, he wanted to get in it, and I was like, just not anybody can get in. There's a long line of people waiting to get into this fantasy football league, right? It's a it's a league of legitimacy. The only reason a new guy got put in this year mid-season is because one of my family members and my cousin passed of cancer, right? So we named, you know, the trophy after him, the Lee Wisniewski Memorial Trophy, right? In our fantasy football league. So that's the only way people get in here. But yeah, this one is special because this is the first year of the Wisniewski Memorial Trophy, and some people may call it divine intervention. Who knows? Maybe he had something to do with me bringing home the first title, you know, the first chip in honor of his name. Who knows?
Well, Mike, we're going to let you relish in your championship here, sir. What steps did you have to go through? What led up to this championship game? What brought the juice to bring that championship home, my brother?
Let me tell you something. It was pretty. You know what? There was a couple mistakes. People slipped up in the league, right? So like almost every year, like people would always make fun of me, right? Because I would get, like, especially in the Winston era, right? When we had Jameis Winston and we were just, we were scoring points. People would just leave Mike Evans out there. And I'm like, of course I'm gonna get him if he's there in the 3rd round, 4th round. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting him, right? So I picked Breece Hall with my first pick, and which was probably the biggest flop I had, right? I picked up Mike Evans at some point. My biggest steal was Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia that went to the Raiders. I mean, just went off, right? So I had Puka Nacua as well, and he started off the year on IR, so I was just kind of floating, right? And the one big mistake that they made was somebody dropped Baker.
Oh my God!
And I picked him up immediately, right? Like I tell you, like people like this league right here, like if you're not on your P's and Q's, you know what I mean, and you don't get in and make these additions and get, play that waiver wire game or free agent game, like somebody's going to snatch them up. So I was fortunate enough to get Baker. And then, I took a flyer on a young running back by the name of Bucky Irving. And
Wow.
I mean, half my team was full of Tampa Bay. Baker, Mike, I had a nice little Bucky. I had Rashad White here and there I'd play. And I even had a little run with Cade Otton before he got hurt. So, I mean, that's why I got all my Buck stuff on right now. You know what I mean? They propelled me to the title.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So,
good luck.
Is there any advice you would give Mr. three-time fantasy football champion? Is there any advice you would give to any of the upcoming people in the fantasy football league?
Well, you just got to pay attention, right? You got to be
Okay.
quick. You got to be quick on the trigger, and you got to be about it. You know what I mean? You got to pay attention. You got to know what's going on in football. And like ever since I started playing fantasy football in the early 2000s, like my perspective of the NFL has changed. Like it's all about like how is he doing in fantasy? Like I gives a shit if you're winning MVPs or whatever. Like how many points are you putting up? You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at all the players in the NFL right now. Like, are you just scoring points? Like what are we doing? How's their defense looking? Like I don't care about your contracts and all that stuff. Are you putting up fantasy numbers? But you just got to pay attention, man, and you got to be Johnny on the spot, and you got to make the right managerial moves. A lot of times that's one of the big statements in our league: managerial mistakes. Sometimes you bench the wrong guy, or you got a quarterback on the bench and he goes for 40. You just got to make the right moves. And it all kind of just I closed out the season with like 7 dubs in a row. Just went on a run.
Whoa! That's big league.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Big Mike.
Can I get your autograph?
Can we have your
no autographs, bro? I don't. Hey, I'm the wrong one. If you want to get autographs, you better go talk to Mike. You better go talk to Junior. Nobody want my shit.
Well, it is an honor to have a 3-time football champion in our midst. Mike, very well deserved, sir. So what you going to be doing in the offseason to make your fantasy football a 2-time champion?
Say that one more time. The first part cut out.
What are you going to be doing in the offseason to be a back-to-back champion?
Hey, listen. It's never too early to start doing mock drafts. You know what I mean? Start scouting these cats, right? Start scouting these cats. There's a whole new crop of dudes that are going to come in. I have I'm looking at, you got to start looking at these quarterbacks, maybe some of these young running backs and receivers that are coming out.
Right.
I mean, I'm already projecting like a couple years from now, like, when's Jeremiah Smith getting the draft, right? You know what I'm saying? When's Ryan Williams getting a draft? I'm trying to get some of them cats,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mike,
yeah, man. Never too early.
Never too early. We are certainly proud to have you in our midst, my brother.
Absolutely.
We got a celebrity in our midst, by golly.
I'm about a celebrity, but just a 3-time champ right here.
All right.
Hey, you earned it, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, Mike and Bishop, I watched the deal. A link. Toby Rowland and John Holcomb were breaking down the Knowles situation. And what I perceived out of it is, and Bishop alluded to this earlier today on a phone conversation, we never reached out to Knowles. Knowles reached out to us. He wasn't on our radar. We was looking, but we wasn't looking. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
So, Knowles contacts BV, and they put it in motion. Well, somewhere between after the national championship and yesterday, the agent made it a bidding war.
Yeah.
And from what I gathered from T-Row and Holcomb, was Notre Dame was also in the mix, but it came down to Penn State and Oklahoma. Now, what I gathered out of that is apparently Knowles has some hard feelings about Ohio State, and apparently he wants to stay in the league, for a lack of a better term, to show Ohio State, hey, I'm the real deal. I'm bringing the juice, and you're on my menu every single year. That's the way I perceive it, and I'll let y'all ride with it.
Yeah. Well, the facts of the matter is, you absolutely nailed it, Mikey, is that when the agent reached out to us, understand they started the whole ball. And if they started it, then undoubtedly they like what we have to offer, and that somehow, some way, the equation spread it to include the formula of the fiance. But in retrospect, maybe, just maybe, they knew what they were doing, and they knew that we were looking at the current time, and would drive other people to come into the ball game, because it was too quick to where Penn State and Notre Dame came into the equation, and it's like, well, wait a minute, you reached out to us,
Mm-hmm.
and so, hey, simple fact is I'm just glad that the process is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been awesome to get them, and we put our best foot forward to get them. But understand, our defense was never a concern.
No.
It was never a concern. And so with that, I understand it was a gut punch because we were in the running for something special. But wait, maybe, just maybe, we already have the special pieces, and we just got to finagle it to be in the right spots, and that we didn't need to add that component.
Exactly.
Because understand, our whole concerns coming into the 25 season is our offense. So I just thought that it was pretty awesome and cool that we were in the running for it. But understanding, he was never on our list, on our short list.
Yeah.
He happened to reach out and became on a short list because he gave the impression that he wanted to come aboard. So
exactly.
I want people to understand, hey, Oklahoma did all they could do, even in spite of any type of mistakes or errors that might occur. I just think it was too easy for them to allow others into the mix. So undoubtedly, it might have been the perception that they was trying to drive up the market, per se.
Yeah.
That's just my humble opinion, though.
What's your thoughts on it, Mike?
It sucks. Like, he didn't come up, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's thought he was, we're talking about his personal situation in Oklahoma. I thought that was pretty solid. I thought that was a fairly reasonable reason why he reached out to Oklahoma. It's just kind of a coincidence, coincidence that maybe, that the job opened and he, was beefing up there in Columbus, and he's got family that he wants to get back to closer in Oklahoma. So I mean, it sucks. Does it hurt us defensively? No. Because I mean, we're gonna be decent. I thought the only part where it really hurts, and this is my humble opinion, is that it doesn't give BV a chance to be just a head coach, right?
Right.
And be able to work on and be that guy, in game and not have to worry about calling the defenses or whatever, because it's hard for a guy like that, right? That is a defensive guru, right? He's like the godfather of defenses in college football. It's hard for him to just let that go. Like if anybody thinks that that shit can just you can just turn that switch off and be a head coach on a sideline, you don't have a clue, right? You don't have a clue. And BV, that would have helped, because I'm not saying Jim Knowles is BV's equal, but he's up there in defensive prowess, and
Yeah.
I think BV would have probably felt comfortable, letting him control the defense and run the defense while he took a more of a head coach, walking around shaking hands, kissing babies type thing, and overall management of the team, and not just the DC head coach, and he's in there in the defensive meetings, running defensive meetings and game planning and all that stuff. Like the offenses and game plans come to him, and he says, "Yes, we're good with that," or get back to the drawing board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right,
And I like what Kimberly Kay states. She said, OU stated outright they would not engage in a bidding war. It's clear OU doesn't need him as much as Penn State does. Their DC left and BV is defense. Bingo, because at the end of the day, like I told Bishop on the phone earlier today, that we have the best defensive mind in all of college football as our head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I also told Bishop in the green room what I felt on Coach Ricks's show was more or less disappointment. I was disappointed that we didn't get Knowles, that this would be a flash hire, big time hire. But at the end of the day, when I look at all things equal, is our defense is solid. It's going to be even better this year or this coming year. It's the offense we need to start paying attention to, because we got Arbuckle, we got his quarterback coach, and we got John Mateer in the fold now. We need to make sure we have a pulse on offense, because we got a damn good defense that will win us some games, providing we can give just a quarter or a half of offense. That's my take. What you think, Bishop?
Assumption. That's a good take. I mean, that's like Bishop said. That's the defense is not the issue. You know what I mean?
No,
not at all. That's been rectified. At least on paper, and we'll see. We'll get that. We'll get a better look here come spring ball, and the beginning of the season. Like I said before, I'm not gonna pump it up. I'm not gonna sunshine pump, as we like to do, and I'm just gonna watch and observe and give honest opinions and takes. And I'm not gonna sit here and say we're going to the college football playoffs and we're gonna have a top 5 offense just because on paper it looks that way. We gotta be a little bit more level headed and stop rushing the judgment.
But the more I look at John Mateer, the more I'm liking where our offense is headed for next season. For the simple fact is he's the leader on the field. He commands his presence. He is a field general. And that is what we want. Now, is he Baker Mayfield? No, nobody will ever be Baker Mayfield. Is he Baker Mayfield-esque? I will give him that. But nobody will. When I'm guilty of it too. When we start comparing players to players, I want to see a player carving his own legacy, what he does on his own. Yeah, he's got the not the mentor, but the heroes like the Baker Mayfields, the Kyler Murrays, the Sam Bradfords, all of that he looked up to. But he's wanting to carve his own path, and that's what I like to see in a player.
What's so funny?
Yeah. The thing about it is, go ahead, Mikey.
No,
just saying,
you go ahead, brother.
my youngest walked in and started laughing at me. I said,
Is that is
he
that
doesn't
Cam?
realize he doesn't realize he's in the midst of greatness right now, right? He doesn't realize. I'm a 3-time champ. That's who I am.
Hey, I
He
ain't
said,
mad
"Who do
at
you
you,
think you
Mike.
are, Michael Jordan?"
Mike said, I'm strutting today. You better
I'm
leave me alone. But
Mhm.
He got Mike out there. Go ahead, Bishop.
what I was gonna say is that we all understand that after this season, after going through that fire test, we realize that any and everybody that is connected to, even include us, we have to be better, and we have to assess and make sure each and every component is held to the standard. It can't be, well, okay, they no, it 24 karat gold is 24 karat gold. And if that's the standard, then everybody needs to meet that, to include the Board of Regents and Joe C and everybody that's connected. Because understand right now, we have the nucleus and we have the potential, but potential without going into a lab and fine tuning it is just potential. And I see where the potential could be off the charts if we're willing to buy in, players and all, and work, go into the lab and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's no doubt, after watching films or breaking down films, Mateer is a cerebral assassin. He reads defenses. I want to intimate explain. He reads defenses. For a while, we needed someone like that. We got him.
Yeah.
Now, him and the offensive coaches need to take ownership
Mm-hmm.
and put in the work.
Yep. Exactly right, Bishop.
Hey, Mike, put that last comment up there. Let's address that. So
Why would we want a Baker Mayfield, Bradford, or Murray? None of those could win a national title. Yet they won the Heisman. And
now
Mike,
let's analyze. Let's dig a little. Let's unpack that, as they say, right?
yep.
Let's unpack this, right?
Yeah.
Because what he's leaving out is what didn't those, what didn't Baker have, right? What didn't Kyler Murray have that we have now, right? Imagine if you combine the defense that we got now with the offense that Baker and Kyler Murray were leading, what that would look like.
Whew.
Now, I'm not saying it's coming. I'm not saying we're winning natties and we're winning chips, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. We're a lot closer than what they were in the time. Mayfield,
Yep.
he almost had it, but imagine if he'd had a little defense against Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could
Exactly.
piggyback off of the boogeyman, is just think about it. Did we stop the run in this last season in spite of our woes? We actually were efficient at stopping the run. What, through all of those quarterbacks that were named, what was the toughest thing we couldn't really do?
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
got
good
That's
defense.
that
right.
we made a quarterback look like a Heisman because we couldn't stop him, and we had third and long, and he jumps a 25-yard quarterback run.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So I
And
mean,
if it,
like you can come in here and sneak this, Baker Mayfield and Sam Bradford and Kyler Murray, but you can't slight those dudes, man. Because let
no,
me tell you something. Those dudes. I mean, you really gonna come in here and throw a jab at those dudes, and they got statues outside of the stadium. You know what I mean? That'll be there forever. You'll be long gone and in the dirt. Just you know what I mean. And them dudes are immortalized. But yeah, you want to come in here and diss them like that on the low, as the kids would say, a sneak diss.
Yeah,
I welcome it.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I
welcome it because understand that's the only way you get fire. Iron sharp as iron.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I tell you what I'm liking from what I'm seeing so far, and gosh dang it, I can't help myself. I go back and I'm nerding I'm nerding being Arbuckle too much. I need to watch country music or something on YouTube now. But I always when I watch his film on YouTube, one thing that jumps out at me is his offenses is schemed to his skilled position players. He's not married into one per se system. I know he's air raid, but then you see him line up in an I formation, and then you see him here line up under center. I mean, he's Arbuckle, guys. Answer me this, Bishop. In the film that you've watched of Ben Arbuckle's offense, have you seen that sometimes he will run an RPO out from under the center?
I've seen him in every possible formation, and Arbuckle will do what is necessary. I've seen him on a 4th and 1 where they actually did underneath the center.
Yeah,
which delights my heart because if that's in his arsenal and knowing what we have here, and if they just go to work, that means for once, if push come to shove, we got a 4th and 1.
Yeah. What's your take on it, Big Mike?
I mean, I've always been a big proponent of tailoring your offense to your skill players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like let's look at it from a Philadelphia Eagles perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If Philadelphia comes out, and I'll touch on somebody else too. What if Philadelphia comes out and they throw the ball 60 times a game and get a ball to Saquon 10 times? You know what I mean? Like that's just ridiculously not smart. Like you want to tailor your offense to your strengths, right? And obviously Saquon Barkley is a strength. I mean, look at that cat, dude. He's killing people right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's go back to last week, and we touched on it a little bit right here. What was the strength of the Ravens? You know, the Ravens offense this year. You went out and got probably the biggest free agency signing of the year in King Henry, and you didn't give him the rock.
Yeah.
Started throwing it. And you know, tailoring your offense to your skill players and what they do best. I mean, it seems elementary, but it gets overlooked all the time. And I think Arbuckle does a good job of that. And I think, you know, he calls the offense and has a feeling of the sense of the game, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think we did too well last year with, you know, calling the game, you know, based on, you know, how we're doing and what's working and you know, just feel a feeling. It's hard to explain, but you just got to feel it, right? Like I think we did well. That's why we did well toward the end of the year with like the first drive or two, right? Because I think we had a script, right? I think we had a script of plays. Once that script ran out, we struggled because we weren't in tune with the game and what we were working and in our game plan going into it. It seems like they just abandoned it and started, you know, just freelance, like throwing a dart at the board, like, oh, let's run this and boop, let's run that. Like, I don't know, man. It just feels like it was just disconjointed, and I don't feel like that's going to be the case moving forward.
And I'm so glad, Mike, you said that because the next thing I was going to share is when I did my WRED and breaking down the film, 76.5% of the time if they get stopped 2 series, Arbuckle the next series will come back and restart and able to make the adjustments and they go and score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all we needed. Just think about it. This entire season, if we had someone that could do that, how different the season could have been.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's a fact. You know,
I mean,
feel
how
like we didn't do well coming out of half. I feel like we didn't do coming out well with adjustments. Other teams made adjustments and we didn't do well with it.
Right. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm looking at the league. I'm looking at, can he come back out when somebody has put their adjustments in, and can he restart and find out what he needs to do to go to the next level to restart his offense? And 76% of the time, he was able to do that and go score.
I tell you what I'm also liking about Arbuckle is he will expose a defense's weaknesses. He will expose you.
Yeah, you got to do that too. You got to.
And we didn't have that last year at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Ronnie Millsap could have seen weaknesses all over them defenses we played last year. Did we hit on their weaknesses?
Oh,
nope.
Ronnie Millsap, man.
Man. Hey, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Just
go
to
ahead,
prove
Bishop.
a point.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, in the Texas game in itself, the first quarter, we were tick for tat with them. Once we hit the second quarter, if we had any assembly of a offense that could restart, how different could that game have been? Just think that, use that as a reference for understanding how important it is, because there are going to be some teams that stop you, and we get that. But the good teams find a way to say, okay, you made this adjustment, you did some film study, you're answering this, but I see this, so this is how we're going to go attack it. And when you go attack it, you have success. That's what we couldn't do this past year, because they had no reference point to do it. They just knew they could make a script, but that's great. But then when it doesn't work, what's your next thing that you can go to?
Yeah.
And with Arbuckle, he's been in that position long enough to know exactly when he's been stopped, what adjustment he might need to do. On top of that, he has a quarterback that he's worked extensively with, along with a quarterback coach that knows the ins and out of what how much film study he does, and how he can read defenses, and they tailor make the offense to his specifications so that he can always take advantage of the defense.
Big Mike, you want to handle this?
Hey, listen, man. My kids, they're around this shit their whole life. They know what it is, right? They know how hard fantasy football goes in this house. You know what I mean? They hear me yelling and cussing at the TV, or a bad beat on a play where I may lose, or at the last second on a Monday night or something like that. But they're all been involved in this, man. So they used to come to the house. When Mike was younger, we used to all link up at my friend's house in Nebraska, and we'd do our draft, and he got a nice pool or whatever. So all the family would come over, and we'd party and swim and barbecue and eat some food after the draft. So all the kids know about it, man. They all look forward to when we're going up for the draft or whatever. And I mean, listen, man, what people don't realize is I've drafted in this fantasy football league from the other side of the world. You know what I mean? I've drafted in the fantasy football league from Iraq. I've drafted from Afghanistan. Shit, I did it in California when I was stationed there. I'm pretty sure I did it from Europe and in the Middle East and Kuwait. So you know what I mean? Like I've flown back to Nebraska just for this from like when I was stationed in Georgia and Tennessee. Like I've flown back for the weekend, just to show up for this draft. So they know what it is. And you know what? If they don't like me coming on here flossing, you know what I'm saying, with my cigar and my 2 chains and my trophy and my belt, get used to it, bro. Because if I win it again next year, it's the same shit. Trophy gonna be running around. I'll be hooting and hollering and talking my stuff, man. It is what it is. They know my kids know what's up, man. Like they, you know what I mean? They expect.
And we are enjoying it because
Big G come to throw you, Big Mike.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. Hey, but listen to the deal, man. Like at least you're consistent with the troll. Like the one-time troller, come on, get on here. Get on out here, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Ben G's, me and him.
I like Ben G though. Ben G makes me laugh, bro. I like
me and
his
Ben
stuff,
G
man.
go back.
Hey,
and forth.
anytime anybody can get up under the skin of Jason, it makes me giggle a little bit. So it's funny.
Ben G, he said, "Let's do a Sooner Legends Pod Fantasy League. Let's see if Big Mike can handle it."
And so here's the deal, man. Like,
that'd be nice.
I don't play fantasy football just for shits and giggles.
No, you play for real.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. I don't get in a league for less than 100. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I don't. My buddies call me all the time. We get in this fantasy football league, and I'm like, "Well, how much?" He's like, "Oh, it's just for fun." I'm like, "Get out of here with that."
Well, I'm going to address something now. Now, Mike Bishop, we all know that OU Twitter, you can take 99.9 to 9/10% of it and throw it over your shoulder. But there has been rumored about our quarterback, Jaden O'Neal, because Arbuckle and OU has offered another 4-star quarterback out of Texas. I don't know if y'all have heard the name or not. I'm looking for him right now.
Yeah. I'm tracking. Like, here's the deal: is how many quarterbacks have we lost in the portal last couple years, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think about it. Who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback that came in with Mike Hawk, right? Zerbo, right? He left, right? We lost Casey Thompson. We lost Jackson Arnold, right? Before that, General Booty, right? And all those dudes left.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we're pretty bare in that department. And that doesn't mean, just because we offer another dude that people are like, oh, Jaden O'Neal's, he's going to decommit and leave. Bro, there's no guarantee that dude's even coming. Like, why are we overreacting like that? Like, if you guys think that Oklahoma didn't talk to this kid and say, hey, we're going to offer this other kid, down here in Texas, and, we need depth at the position. Like, this dude is not competition for you, right? He's a depth piece. And maybe a couple years down the road, after you come in and you go boom, 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 and you go into the league, maybe he gets some clock. But like, they just don't think that they didn't talk to the kid and just offered the quarterback out of Texas without talking to him, because they're smarter than that, man. They know that may cause some problems. You know what I mean? So they're going to get out in front of it and, like mature adults, have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? It's just, I get it. People overreact and all that stuff, but it's people just love living in misery every day, and having that just the sky's falling mentality. And
and I know Mike, do we always talk about that fire test and the poopy diaper syndrome?
Yep, we do, Bishop.
and the truth of the matter is, you know what it is? We're not in the Big 12 no more. We're in the SEC, and understand there's been a track record set by Saban, and he's not afraid to bring in competition for his 1s and 2s so that they have to compete. The key is making sure we communicate and that they know Only the right person is going to win it. And understand, he came in when we had Hawkins and Arnold, and he committed. So what's the difference?
And see, that's what people don't realize, man.
Right.
Like these kids, they're athletes, they're competitors. Like they don't have the same mentality as some of the people that's never played sports and are fans of this stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like these kids want to compete. They want to be against the best of the best, and they're not scared of it. You know what I mean? Some of the people that have a problem with this, they're scared of the competition. They're scared of
Uh-huh.
it. So, like, don't think that everybody has that same opinion of like, oh, it's I'm scared and Bro, these kids ain't. Some kids are built like that, but a lot of these kids and the kids that Oklahoma goes after, like, they're not built like that.
Right.
And that goes back to development and relationship. If your relationship built, they'll know from the jump. Hey, look, we're always going to be recruiting someone to replace you. And if that bothers you, understand we're letting you know ahead of time so you can make your decision. But once you make your decision, that's not going to stop, because in order to win national titles, that has to be something that you bank on and that you thrive in. You have to get your kids to buy all the way in to thrive in stuff like that. So that way, iron sharpens iron. So by the time you get the opportunity to be in the playoffs and go further, you're in position and you have the goods to make sure you get all the way through it.
I'm gonna kind of give my 2 cents on offering Bo Bentley along with that's his kid's name, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Bo Bentley. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Number 11th ranked quarterback in the cycle and 28th in the state of Texas.
Gotcha.
Good size quarterback, and he does have a Texas State championship from last year. But anyway, talking about guys like Jaden O'Neal. Now, there was a rumor out there. One of the rumors was that he took an unofficial to visit to Colorado. But that has already been debunked. All he was wanting to do is see Shadur Sanders. Debunked one. So, but anyway, what I'm in my way of thinking, somehow, some way, Ben Arbuckle seen the first year BV was head coach, and what happened? TCU game. Dylan Gabriel gets knocked out from concussion, misses the Texas game. We don't have any kind of backup quarterback to mention. Now, somehow he's thinking, you know what? I need to get some quality backup quarterbacks on my in the room just in case Mateer or Hawkins goes down. I got 2 more that I can go to that can keep the wheels turning, so to speak.
Hey, that's one
my
part
way.
of it. That's definitely one part of it, right? So you got to think about how practices ran, and people don't think about this, man. Like you can't have your 1 and 2 quarterback, and especially your number 2 quarterback running scout team. You know what I mean? Over there running the look team. You need kids that need to go over there and develop and get real quarterbacking in them. You know, especially like you're gonna grow and get better playing against our defense. You know what I mean? So they need cats over there too. You know, whether it's a walk-on or whether it's PWO or a scholarship or something like that, they need cats over there to help with that aspect of practice and provide. And when we talk about depth, like we're talking about that kind of depth too, like an overall program, practicing games, workouts, and just overall numbers. Like it's depth all around, not just games. In case somebody gets hurt.
And that's what I was fixing to allude to. That I don't want to see it happen. But just like say, for example, Mateer goes down. Well, you got next up Mike, who I know is going to be talented. The variables are there. He goes down. Now you got Jaden O'Neal and Bo Bentley to choose from in your toolbox. So you have a good stable quarterback who could walk in.
Don't forget New.
Yeah. So you got tools, good snap on, tools in your toolbox that will get the job done. In that
And
room.
may I ask, also add, we got a quarterback coach, you guys.
Yeah, we got a quarterback coach.
That is so huge because as they run a scout team and whatnot, he can make sure he works on their mechanics and get the actual development. So when that time comes, if it should come, they're prepared.
Well, OU Rejuvenator, however you say that. So curious, are we going to get a DC or will BB just be DC? And if so, we still need a linebacker.
Hey, Mike, let me help you out here.
Okay.
OU Revenge Tour. It's 3 separate words.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
That was hilarious. I'm like, what is he trying to read right here? I was so confused. That's hilarious. Hey,
Have I been drinking my own bathwater?
bro, that's so funny, man. Damn, that was good.
Sorry about that.
DC. Hey, listen, man. Our DC is our head coach, and it's been that way. And no matter who we got in, if it was Knowles or not, like this, he's always gonna have input on it. Like I said, man, it's hard to turn off that switch. Now, I think he would have had a little bit of easier time of letting go of the defense if Knowles was here. But if Knowles was here, like let's say Knowles never reached out, right? Let's live in this hypothetical, this parallel universe where Knowles never reached out. Whoever they brought in or hired from within is gonna have heavy oversight from Brent Venables.
Correct.
It's his defense, and that's what he's gonna. It's his baby. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not too worried about like, in a lot. You know, the big name out there right now is Nate Dreiling, right? And a lot of people are like, oh my God, we're going to FCS and getting defensive coordinators and the sky is falling. Listen, man, nobody said they were trying to hire Nate Dreiling as the defensive coordinator. They're looking for a linebacker coach. You know what I mean? They're looking for a linebacker coach. Now, if somehow, somewhere, people just love to leave that part out and just the doomer and gloomers like, oh my God, we're hiring an Arkansas State coach, defensive coordinator, right? He came from Utah State where he was, interim head coach and defensive coordinator all at the same damn time. You know what I mean? It didn't work out so well, but I mean, we fried BV for the first time being a first-year head coach. You know what I mean? Imagine being in your 30s and being a head coach. You know what I mean? Imagine being in your 30s. But what people don't talk about with Nate Dreiling is what he did at New Mexico State. You know what I mean? And what he did with that defense. They went from like 130th in the nation to top 30 or top 40. Now, I don't know if anybody you guys know about New Mexico State, but I happen to know a little bit. Like that is like that is no small task, bro. That's like a miracle. Taking a defense from at New Mexico State and getting into the top 40, 30, or whatever it was. Like, bro, that says something. You know what I mean? Like you're doing something. And 2 bowl games. Everybody remembers them going into Auburn and busting that ass. Like, here's the big orchestrator of that defense is Nate. And I mean, I think he's an up and comer. And everybody's like, oh, he's nobody. We don't know who he is. Dude, nobody knew who anybody was until they got their shot. You know what I mean? Nobody knew who Brent Venables was until he got his shot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody knew who Brandon Hall was until he got his shot.
I'll be honest.
It's crazy to me how it's just so dismissive of a guy coming from the DC that just got hired at Arkansas State, and everybody's all boo-boo lipped and got their panties in a bunch about it.
Yeah.
Hey, let me say this to all the chat and all the fans. The simple fact is, BV is in his prove it year. He's in the hot seat. Do you think he's gonna relinquish? If it ain't Knowles, do you think he's gonna relinquish it when he's in that prove it year? No way. Whoever it is, go ahead, Mike. What were we talking about before we came on?
He's going to go down swinging. If he's going to go down, my gosh, he's going to go down swinging. and he's not going to pull out any stops.
And also, could it be a defensive coordinator that in name only?
Exactly. Yeah, and a defensive coordinator in name only. Exactly. We talked about that too, Bishop.
Because remember, he's in the hot seat. So you know without a shot of a doubt, unless it's somebody like a Knowles, his hand is going to be in it. So if his hand's going to be in it, let's get the best position coach available for our linebackers to work and keep Stowski here because he's getting better. But understand, we're still building, developing a nucleus. And that's how you do it, is you make sure that you bring the right components in so that the positions are being developed, because you got more than just your starters, your A's and B's. You also got your the young players that's coming that needs to be able to step in at a moment's notice when need be.
Mike, you want to hit on that from Sooner Cowboys?
I mean, I mean, it feels like same old OU. Like, what is same old? I would need him to define what that means. What's same old OU?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Too bad, Sooner.
Yeah. Define that, because I mean, like, okay, like I said earlier, like missing out on Knowles is it doesn't really give BV the chance to be just the head coach, right? Now he's still going to be even more involved with the defense because he needs to be, and I mean, I don't know if same old OU. I mean, I thought OU won national championships and in conference championships and are a blue blood. I mean, the same old OU feels like you're talking about New Mexico State or something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just a little spoiled. I don't know. Crazy.
Well, you know what? Let's be honest. The whole concern going into this off season was our offense.
Yeah.
There was no question about our defense. We were under that understanding. Once the young man left to go to be the defensive coordinator elsewhere, we really and truly needed this someone who knew BV's system and understand. We didn't understand the full sustain of Goodman coming from Clemson, but in order to get his buyout, he can't be in name. It can't be the defensive coordinator. Great. So it's a chance that he could be an analyst once they finalize everything. But the thing is, it was always going to be BV unless he got Knowles. That's the only thing that could have changed it.
If Clemson doesn't fire Goodwin,
right,
we get Knowles. Knowles comes to OU.
Think
about that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. That's
crazy.
And old BNG does make a point here. The Knowles miss was a blow to OU ego on social media.
Yes.
I agree with that. And he also says, at the end of the day, Knowles was a luxury.
Yes.
Thank you, Benji.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Benji.
Yeah, because understand, we weren't even seeking after him. He reached out to us to let us know that he was interested. So, understanding if we were never looking in that direction, and he came into our position, the only way we were even in the ball game if he never reached out to us. We're not even in the conversation. It's a mute point.
Exactly. And I seen it the other day. A person posted, "I'm tired of OU taking L's." Let's look at the W's we got. Ben Arbuckle. I can't pronounce. Here we go, Mike. I'm not going to pronounce it, but the quarterback coach from Wazoo. We get two big time fish on the offense, and Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje, along with Darius Abalafa. I mean,
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
So tell me, how are we taking L's? We wouldn't be discussing, like you said, Bishop. We wouldn't be discussing the defense had not Knowles became a factor, because we in this all off season have been talking about one thing and one thing only: the offense, of how putrid it was last season.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give a shot. I'm gonna give a shout out about my man John. All right, the guy
Okay,
we
John.
can't pronounce his name yet, and being the only member, I feel like I have to do this, right?
Go ahead.
I have to do this as being one of the only people on this stream with the last three letters of their name with the SKI, right? So it's my birthright. It's my birthright that I have to try to pronounce this last name, right? Because
Appreciate you.
I do a lot of messing around with people when they hear my last name. I'm like, come on, just give it a shot. Can't be that bad, right? So
Logan.
the tables are turned. So here we go. John Kusieski.
Kuskieski.
It's spelled Kuceyieski.
Okay.
Kusieski.
Kuskieski.
Kusiet. Say that again.
Kusieski.
Kusieski.
Yep.
Okay. Good
Okay.
job, man.
There we go, man. That's my go at it.
Hey, Coach Kuskieski, we appreciate you allowing us to learn your name, because more than anything, you're here and we needed you.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Without a doubt, we have even a shot because we have someone who actually developed quarterbacks. That's huge.
This is going to be a turning point for Sooner Legends podcast.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
From now on, after yesterday, Mike the Legend is not going to go on any podcast, do a podcast of his own when he is in his feels as he was hard last night.
Did I miss something? Do I got to go back? Hey, I missed a whole lot of stuff yesterday.
Oh, I was on.
I got to go back.
Coach Ricks.
Yeah, Coach Ricks.
I got to go check out.
Yeah. Hey, Mike was he was in fuego. He was in fuego, bro.
I was like that little Benny Rooster puffed up.
That's hilarious.
I didn't pull no stops. I mean, let's just say nobody was safe in my rant, including the athletic director last night.
Hey,
you were taking some heat now.
Hey, it wasn't safe in those streets. Too many strays was flowing in that street. You better put on your bulletproof vest when you watch that one.
I didn't leave no stone unturned.
Look. Even the bishop was ducking. Dang. Wait a minute. Oh, snap.
Here.
Because I'm not used to Legend doing that. But I mean, he was just like, pew! I was like, oh, snap. Who's that?
I didn't even load any tracers into the magazine. That's how hard I was coming last night. But on with that note, the Legend will take a day off when something happens. I will chunk rocks. I will grab my 6.5 Creedmoor and go shoot targets. I will do something non-destructive to take out my frustrations.
Hey, let me. My first title, I poured 2 beers in here and chugged it out of here. Here's what
You're my man.
Hey, I thought it was like a real cup. When I poured that beer in, it started coming straight out of this hole in the bottom.
Hey, then you had to hold the hole and like this.
Yeah. I thought it would just stay in there, but nope. No, I was wrong. Yeah.
Was you doing the ogre off the Revenge of the Nerds, drinking the beer out of
Yeah. I think I did when I did. Hey, especially my first one too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When was that? What was that? 2011. 2011.
Wow.
But,
Yeah.
but going forward, guys, I think OU is in great shape.
Yeah.
You know, after I talked to Bishop on the phone this morning, I told him what I did look at was the whole picture, that OU's defense wasn't the problem last year.
Yeah.
We're going to be in better shape this year on defense.
Yeah.
So and with the additions of who I just mentioned, and you got the number one, well, not the number one quarterback anymore, but you got John Material.
Hey man, if they think Carson Beck is the number one quarterback, if he's the number one quarterback in the portal, he should have been going to the league.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Now that done.
You know what I mean? You can't be the number one quarterback the number one quarterback in the league and go backwards, right? From a Jordan to Martin. I don't know. I think about these things sometimes.
You know, I will always say Georgia's my second favorite team. I've followed them ever since the days of Vince Dooley. They've always been my go-to team when OU is down, and I follow and I like Georgia. But after you've seen Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers go to the league, Carson Beck wasn't a quarterback because let's face it, Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, to me, Ladd McConkey was generational talent at their position. I mean, I don't care where Carson put that ball. Them two always sniffed it out. All it had to do was touch their fingertips. And then once them two left to the league, I seen Carson Beck for what he truly was.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
I hear you.
So anyway, I think, like I stated, I think OU is on the right track. I'm patiently waiting for the spring game. So, Mike, they're in winter workouts down there at Norman right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
How has Boogeyman said how it's been going down there?
Yeah, he said it's been going good. He's like, they got different workout groups, so we can't really like see everybody. His little workout group, they run in the morning and lift weights in at a later time, but what allows with their school schedule. But yeah, everybody's showing up, man. Everybody's going all out, putting in the work and sweating equity in the team. But yeah, everything seems to be going good, man. It sounds like people are bought in and really want to have a good year, and it starts now. If they want to be ready for the SEC in the fall, it starts now.
Yeah. Referring to that, a buddy of mine who's a fan of Okie Light puke. I'm throwing up in my mouth. When Zach Alley bailed to West Virginia, he said, "Well, what are y'all going to do now? You lost to DC, and now y'all." I said, "How many players followed him to West Virginia?" None. How many players?
If you want to say one indirectly, you could say one, but he wasn't here for Zach Alley, and that was my guy Harrington.
Yeah, Justin Harrington.
Yeah.
Did he go to West Virginia?
Yeah,
he did.
And
but
also, how many?
Yeah.
And I can't believe when I talk to somebody, I can't believe Zach Alley, for the year he was recruited, he didn't recruit one player on that defense. Oh. Maybe one. I heard it was
land one. Didn't get a commit. Nope.
So why am I crying? Now, do I wish Zach Alley the best up there with Rich Rod? I do, because they are known. I mean, Rich Rod was the coach at Jacksonville State, and Zach Alley was his defense. From the way I perceived it is Brent didn't want to run the 3-3-5 because it doesn't work in the SEC, and it will work in the Big 12. That's the way I perceived it.
So I got a question about West Virginia, and maybe somebody can help me out in the chat here. Like West Virginia, they have like a slogan, right? Like, ours is Boomer Sooner. Like when I've been seeing their tweets, especially when people got in my mentions about Zach Alley and all that stuff, they would always say it's a hard edge. Like, what the hell does that mean in reference to West Virginia football? Hard edge. Like, I don't know what that means, man. It's
me neither. I'm gonna have to ask my buddy Coos on that, because he's a West Virginia podcaster. So
yeah, I had so many people like DMing me that, like, hard edge, and I just started replying soft edge. I don't know, I didn't even know what it meant, but.
Well, I hope all the guys and gals in the chat like my new logo that y'all seeing in the chat. My new YouTube logo.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of her.
She did an excellent job.
That's my baby. She got her A for the day. So anyway, guys, we've been going a little over an hour. I'm getting hungry. I got to put some food in this belly. I think we had an awesome pod today. A lot of insights, and I want to thank my distinguished guest, 3-time fantasy football champion, Michael Boganowski Sr., for gracing our presence today.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
You're in the presence of greatness. All right, just know it.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Listen, Bishop, Mike, I always look forward to this show on Mondays, because no telling what we're going to do or say. But from me, Bishop, Mike Boganowski, we appreciate y'all showing out in the chat every week. If you don't mind, give your old boy Legend a like. Give me this. Rules is, if you're going to come in here and troll, you got to subscribe, you got to like, and then we're all good. Is that the rules, Mike?
Yeah.
That's the rules. So,
and I want to send out a shout out to Coach Skalowski. Did I say it right? Close enough.
Say it again.
Coach Skalowski, right? Did I say it right? Okay.
I
got to work on it, Coach. But
Kuchieski.
Okay. But big salute and welcome to the family.
Welcome to the fam. And on behalf of me, Bishop Frank, and Mike Boganowski, we thank y'all for joining us every Monday. And this is the Legend. We'll see y'all next Monday for Mike and Mike on Mondays. And until then, y'all have a blessed week. God bless. Boomer.
Super.
Horns them. Throw them horns down. We'll see y'all later.
Through 153 games, our record was 125, 24, 4, 2
People don't know what it is to be champions. Oklahoma invented it.